Presented by AfterBuzz TV and hosted by Hall of Fame superstar Sean X-Pac Waltman, this is X-Pac 12360. And now your host, WWE Hall of Fame superstar Sean X-Pac Waltman.
Welcome to X-Pac 12360, everyone.
We're back.
Yes.
It's been a minute.
Yeah. Just got back from Orlando on Sunday.
How was it?
Oh, it was, I hadn't gone since, what was it, September or something, or October maybe. I think it might have been. Anyways, I hadn't been there in a couple months, and so I missed it. And was there for a week, and got to get, I have some like little personal pet projects around there. I get to dig back into, and also got to see, how great some of our AfterBuzzers are doing down there.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, LaQuasto.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, our former co-host here. He's doing more and more commentary, and they really like him, and why wouldn't they?
Yeah, exactly.
And that was one of his strong suits that he was doing at Championship Wrestling from Hollywood for a long time.
Yeah.
So
commentary.
Yeah, so I'm really happy that he's getting that opportunity to showcase that.
Yeah, and Mark Donecker,
Of course, man.
our engineer,
That's Mark.
and always used to, pop in on the show from the booth, and he worked really hard on the show. Well, everyone that's worked on the show here. I'm really happy for him. He's doing great down there, and they have him going out, like he's traveling when they go out of town and stuff. And he was really tired as fuck. And I was like, "Hey, man, you okay?" "I'm just tired."
That's good though.
Yeah, no,
it's
it's
a good
great.
problem to have, I guess.
The
Yeah.
old days. I remember those days having Mark here.
Yeah, and it was great for his life has changed so much for the better.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm really happy for him. And just the talent.
Yeah. Yeah,
my friends.
That's got to be cool coming back after a while and seeing kind of those pet projects that you saw and how
Sure.
they kind of progressed and stuff.
Yeah.
Did you fall back easily into those pet projects?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, because I only had a couple, and some of them seem to be moving on to do other things.
Nice.
And so I'm going to. I have a few. Like next time I go, I'm going to go on the end of February.
Nice. So
End of
closer.
this month, and I have some new folks that I'm gonna mentor.
Very cool.
Yeah, and some of the same ones.
Okay.
Yeah, Priest. He's one of my guys because I knew him and Riddle from the Monster Factory.
Oh, sure.
Man, what a match he had with Dijak.
Yeah.
And Dijak looked really good out there. Really upped his game on the selling and just the stuff that is really important in between the moves that I talk about. And a lot of people, when they do great moves, it's easy to not, you can fall back on all the great moves you do,
right.
And you can sometimes get by on letting that other stuff slip.
Right.
But these days, here's the thing, and I'm telling people this, especially down there, the NXT, you might be special and great in the ring on like when you go do an independent show, you stand out, but being great in the ring does not, it's not special.
Right.
Everyone's great in the ring down there.
Yeah.
So you have to have that other shit like to really stand out because there's so many guys that do such amazing stuff in the ring. And yeah, you can still really get lost in the shuffle down there if that's all you have.
Right. Yeah, I've always compared it to like acting. Like you can deliver a line great, but if you look at greats and you see what they're doing in between lines, like it's I've always kind of thought about that.
Yeah. So I tell people, find like the wrestler that is over as fuck. I mean, so over with the people. But you're not a fan of theirs. Like you don't think they're very good in the ring or whatever. That's who you want to watch to get better. Not the guys you're fans of, like because they do your style, because there's some reason why that person's so fucking over when they're just mediocre in the ring.
Sure.
And that's what you need to study.
That's really interesting. I hadn't heard that before. To study the person that you may not be the world's biggest fan of, but they're the person that's getting over.
Yes.
That's super interesting,
When
yeah.
did you come up with that, and why is that something that you tell them?
Because people like to just watch the stuff they're fans of, and they fall, I'm tape study. I'm going to go watch tape.
Does that keep you in a bubble?
Maybe.
Yeah, I
Maybe
imagine
that might be a long way of putting it.
It would probably breed complacence for sure if
But
you're
it's
just
just,
watching, yeah.
yeah, it's just you're going to have less. So if you're there, you're already good at that stuff, right? That you're watching.
Yeah.
Not mind you. There's some guys that are considered cruiserweights or whatever that are really fucking charismatic, and they're great at that, all the in between stuff.
Sure.
But I wouldn't limit myself just to the stuff I'm a fan of, as far as style wise.
Yeah, totally.
So
Yeah, I love this sort of it seems like this kind of mini division that NXT has built, where it's these huge guys that are doing incredible things between Keith Lee and Damian Priest and Dijak and Killian Dane. Those kind of it's a very interesting kind of
it's getting crowded down there.
yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, I hate to say this because you don't want it, but they need to thin the herd out down there.
Right.
Really, I hate to say it like that, but yeah. Really
But that
crowded.
must be hard, though, especially if they give you. You mentioned how there's a lot of people with talent down there. So seeing, all the possibilities that could be, and having to let some of those people go, maybe spread their wings elsewhere.
Yeah, because it's really hard because there are some people that have been there a while, and they're just not going to get it. And there's some people that have been there a while, and it's just, in my opinion, there's different ways of teaching somebody the same thing, different ways of articulating things, and sometimes we fail at that as coaches and teachers. Figuring out exactly how
To get through.
Yes, yeah, because there are. How you explain something to somebody, obviously, I think this goes without saying, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm getting kind of off into
So what you're saying is that there's
weeds
some
here.
people that aren't picking up certain things that have been there for a while.
Yeah.
And then there's some people that obviously clearly are, as we're seeing them, because
Yeah.
they're going. Because
Okay,
there
so-
are certain names that we know that have been there for a while, and then other people that just get there and they're zooming past it, and
Yes.
they're on TV, and
Yes.
et cetera. They're
and
moving
it can
forward.
be, and that can be it can really, for somebody to see other people zooming right past them, it could be
Right.
hard.
Yeah.
It can be hard. They've been there a while, and especially if they have a problem being honest with themselves, and not being able to look in the mirror and see, an accurate reflection. It's really hard to get better when you're not self-aware,
Sure, yeah.
So, what was I?
You were just kind of talking about weeding out the talent in terms of probably getting rid of some people because there's too many people down there, and that's
But
interesting.
I know what I was going to say. Okay, I'm going to use Big E for example. He was down there 4 years, and it was at the point where nothing's gonna. But now look at him. He has been seriously considered to have the main title
Yeah.
at one point. So and deservedly so. He's done great, and it just something wasn't clicking for about
Right.
4 years.
Right.
But thank God you didn't give up on the guy, right?
Yeah, and
So it's hard. What I'm saying is it's hard to figure out which ones you need to take more time with and which ones you just got to go,
Right. Because
sorry, you're a great person, you work hard, but you're just not getting it.
Right. That was the great thing about the New Day, about the whole New Day when it started, is just all three of those guys were people that people thought were, might have been on the chopping block. And now, 5 years later, it's crazy to see what's happened and how things have changed.
It's frustrating for me because I know that if I was at ringside, whether I was in the corner as a tag partner or you know, in the ring with them as an opponent, or even, you know, just on the floor in the corner, being able to shout instructions,
right?
Speed up, slow down, da da da, get on them, da da.
If you're like a corner man,
yes, it's so helpful. Yeah, because when you're right there in the moment, to be able to correct things in real time is, oh my God. It makes a huge difference.
Right. That's so fascinating that something like that's present in so many other sports can't really logistically work in pro wrestling.
Yeah. So they do these shows at the PC called PC Live. It's just like the really new, inexperienced talent, and mixed in. You know, some have had some matches here and there, but. Yeah, I actually sat in the front row. They had Special Olympics athletes there for this show.
Oh, cool.
So I was sitting in the front row with one of the athletes because he's like, I got you in my video game. And he was excited. So I went and sat down next to him.
Awesome.
But so I sat through one of the matches and I found myself, it was actually Jake Atlas and Joaquin Wilde.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, a.k.a. DJZ.
Yeah.
So I was actually caught myself like, you know, shouting out instructions like that. Fire up, fire da. And he was, you know, Atlas was listening.
How was Atlas doing?
Really good. Really good. He had an excellent match on the weekend's live event with, excellent. I mean, relatively speaking, because Ridge Holland is really a new talent. Huge potential. Huge. He's going to be a huge star. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about.
No,
Yeah. I think Marty Stone. Anyways, sorry guys, I'm having a brain fart here.
But you were talking about Atlas and how he was doing.
Yeah.
His match, you said that it was good.
Yeah, except for the one at the PC Live, I felt. He tried to do this spot like like one of the first Shine spots. It was like this handstand spot, and it got bumbled up. I was just like, don't ever do that again.
Aw, darn.
Yeah, I think because you know when you fuck up like the first thing is, you know,
It's downhill from there.
Well, it's just hard. Like it's just, you know.
Yeah.
To really recover and get things back on track and you know the vibe like and everything nice. You know, in the pocket, so to speak. It kind of knocks you out of the pocket a little bit when you fuck up like that.
If something like that happens in the middle, it's one thing. But if it's either at the very beginning or the very end, that could really...
But the thing is like, even if it worked, it wasn't something they do in NXT. It was like really too much. Like,
sure.
Then I just said, And then like, so he had this match with Ridge Holland and really good. It was good stuff.
Well, because Atlas does some things that are very creative because he has that cheerleading background. So he's able to do things like what you say with the handstand and all of that. And it's really impressive. When I saw him last at PCW Ultra, I was seeing him do some stuff where I was like, I haven't seen that before. And, you know, everything came across, you know, very nice and very crisp.
Yeah.
So it is very interesting to see what he's going to take from what I've seen and apply, you know, now to WWE. So that's going to be pretty exciting to see.
Yeah. And it's so hard to see things that are new in wrestling, but when you get guys with kind of unique backgrounds, like with cheerleading, when Morrison was really blowing up, when people realized he had that parkour background, that's when you start seeing stuff that you've never seen before, which is so hard to do.
So one of the guys that one of the young guys that's down at NXT, and he's coming up, and he didn't have any prior experience before coming there, but he's second generation.
Oh wow.
His name is Cal Bloom. And his father is Wayne the Train Bloom. Do you know who that is?
Yeah.
One of the Destruction Crew and one of Beverly Brothers.
I was going to say teamed with Mike Enos, Yeah.
And Wayne is very, like, he's kind of a, not extremely tall, but like, tall dude, you know, 6'4". Very lanky, though, and very, very deceiving because he was one of the strongest guys in the world in his day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he and Barry Darso. From Demolition.
Yeah.
They had the 2-man deadlift record, world record. Yeah.
Oh wow.
And Wayne himself had like a 700 and some pound deadlift, which is huge for a guy like that.
And he wasn't really like a huge looking guy or anything.
No. But he was a badass. Like in a lot of those guys, it was great to see him, man. Like he's one of the guys that was at my bachelor party, along with like the Road Warriors and Kurt Hennig and Darso. And it was just, so it brings back memories, like coming up, all these big badasses. You hear these stories of the Minneapolis guys and, bouncing at Grandma B's and Rick Rude and, all this shit. And I go up there and I'm just this kid, right? 18 years old, skinny kid. And like, I'm doing my best to like, run with these guys, I'm fighting in bars and fucking, just trying to fit in,
Right.
And that was just really cool to see him, and he's doing good. He looked good, and he did a good job raising his son.
Good, that's awesome.
Yeah, Wayne was a bit much sometimes, but his son is fucking nothing like him.
That's hilarious.
He's a great kid. Cal.
When you go down to the PC, do you have any preference on which guys you want to work with in terms of like what levels they're at?
No.
Or you just feel comfortable with anybody?
Everyone. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. They have to have their ears open. Like I just at this point in my life and with the patience, I have tons of patience if you're really like taking it in.
Yeah.
But like if you're like I call it and Costello.
The word.
Next, I'm done with you. I'm fucking done with you.
Yeah.
So I just don't have like.
They got to be coachable.
Yeah.
And not think they already know what the fuck's up. Because here's the thing. I thought I knew what was up when I came to work there. Because, you get this status on the independent scene and you're one of the best guys on that scene. So you think you know. And then I got WWF and I realized I didn't know shit.
Right.
Relatively speaking.
Right.
I really didn't know how to work. I did the best I could. All of us did the best we could. Figuring things out on our own with a little bit of, advice and, shit like that. But really, when you're out there with guys your own experience, you're fucking figuring that shit out on your own.
Right.
There's all kinds of mistakes, and you look back once you know what you're doing, and you look back at your old matches, like, oh, because other people look at that match, and they're loving it, and you're seeing all the mistakes and all the things you should have done different, and it's fuck. Oh.
Just cringing.
Yeah.
That's the worst.
Yeah, totally.
So you're going back in late February, which is really just a couple of weeks away. Do you think you're going to be going more often?
Yeah.
Hoping to?
Yeah. Then I'm going to have a little class I do. A little short, small
Nice.
class.
Awesome, yeah.
Yeah.
Can we get any details on that or no? Okay. Well, we'll see. All right. Well, maybe later on we will. All right. Did you want to add anything else, or did you want to move forward, or?
You know me. If I think of something, I'll shoehorn it in somewhere, even if it doesn't fit.
All right. Well, obviously, we were gone for 2 weeks, so a lot happened in that time. And one of the things that we did want to talk about was a lot happened at the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
One of them being the return of Edge. It was this great, big, grand moment. I'm sure everybody noticed the second that he walked out, stared out into the open, looking at everybody's faces. You can really tell that he had been through hell and back to get to that point. What were your guys' thoughts on Edge's return?
I thought he looked great.
Yeah.
His body looks good. He's got wear and tear on his face that fucking I think looks good.
It looks great.
A little bit of gray in the beard and just I dig it. I feel bad for AJ. AJ out there trying to make him look good.
Yeah.
Not Edge's fault.
No,
No, just I know. I've been there. I didn't have to retire, like he did right at the top of. I mean, I think he just won the title the night before, right? And then he retires the next day or something like that.
Yeah,
right?
I think he had defended it. Yeah, against Donecker. Yeah.
But yeah, I've obviously most people know I've cervical fusion and a lot of issues like he's had, and
Right.
so you know, it's hard when somebody's telling, because I was told at time, oh, you're done, you know, and that's fucking awful, man. Start crying and
Sure.
you know, then once I just remember that when it was told to me, and like once I got over the being upset, I was like, fuck that, I'm not done. You know, I mean, it's wrestling.
Sure.
You know, but
yeah, it's surreal to see him after. I mean, the fact that it's been almost a decade. It's, you know, you're seeing him in there with guys that you never thought you'd see him in there against.
Things change. Like, your body has a chance to heal, and it's amazing. Like, even without surgery, it's amazing sometimes what the body can do and how it can heal.
Right.
And, yeah, so I don't know his details of, like, I haven't seen his MRIs, or I don't know, like, exactly what the...
Well, he cut
I know he had stenosis, I think it was.
Yeah, yeah.
He cut a really interesting promo the night after on Raw, because he comes out here and he basically talks about the roadmap that brought him to this point to get here, how nothing's going to keep him down. And he had this amazing line where he just said, I have grit. And I think that hit a lot of people, because, you know, we hear these stories so many times of people that's it, they're told they cannot come back. I don't think when we found out that, you know, Edge was retiring, that any of us ever thought that he would be back. I know I didn't.
Right.
So it was pretty interesting to sort of see him come back. And now his feud with Randy Orton is having everybody talking. They played a video package yesterday on Raw, highlighting so far what they have done. And it was one of the most serious storylines that we've had in a really long time, where I think the fans have been the fans are really excited based on everything that I have been reading on Twitter about this.
And it's good for Randy too, because it brings some extra excitement out in him that, you know, like, I don't think any other potential feud could.
Right. Yeah, when Edge makes his entrance at Mania, that is going to be a huge, very emotional moment.
All right, now one of the other, I guess you can say, I don't know if you want to call it emotional moment, but we're talking about this.
Sure.
Definitely an emotional moment. Just won the Royal Rumble, Drew McIntyre. I think that was the guy that most people wanted, but probably didn't expect to actually take it home all the way. But he got a very, very nice reception when he won that. And now he's challenging Brock for the title.
Yeah. So it was about 2 years ago.
When we had him on the show?
No, when I predicted that within 2 years he'd be main eventing WrestleMania. Do you guys remember that at all?
I think that was before my time on the show.
You mentioned it on the podcast.
On Twitter, it was mainly a tweet, but we're not going to be able to find that tweet because I had Denise delete all my fucking tweets.
Right. But yeah.
Thank you, Denise.
You're welcome.
I'm off Twitter, but yeah, everyone. I mean, my account still goes, and like, I think you post up for the show, right?
Well, we haven't had a show since, so.
But right, like, so I just, you know, for anyone that's wondering that hasn't read my last tweet, like, I'm just done with it. It just isn't worth it.
Right.
You know, because even if you're not looking, and people go, oh, put the filter on and all this and that, it still comes through.
Right.
It still comes through, and it's just not worth it. And I miss it. I miss a lot about Twitter. But the negatives fucking far outweigh the positives for me. I'm too, just shit that doesn't even have anything to do with me.
Right.
You know, I let in, and I let affect me. And like suffering of people, you know, it fucking kills me. So I'm done. I'm fucking done with it. Instagram is just fine.
Right, there you go.
You're an Instagram
Such
person
a
now.
much nicer place. I see the same people when they post on Instagram, you think it's a different person.
Right.
It's like fucking, they go on Twitter and like a switch happens. They turn into an asshole.
Everybody has a different personality. They got their Facebook personality, which is Facebook's the worst for politics, and Twitter,
I haven't been on there years.
Instagram, then a Snapchat personality. Everybody's got a different personality on every single platform.
Is that the Dolly Parton thing?
The
Is that
Dolly
what that was
Parton
about?
challenge, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a nice way of putting it.
Amazing.
So
Drew McIntyre.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think this is the first time in years where I feel everybody was genuinely on the same page and happy and excited for this guy.
Yeah. It's just, it's it's surprising, and I'm sure that there were various other reasons, but it's surprising that it took even this long since he kind of came back and got called.
They got to be careful though,
right?
When they do something like that thing where they like just had him beat both OC guys, that kind of shit. I know what you're trying to do there, but it'll backfire.
Right?
It's like okay, now we're shoving this guy down our throats. And it's a fucking fine line you got to walk when it comes to that. Once people know you're the chosen one, everything changes.
Right. Yeah, no, that's a great point for sure.
Well, so far he's had the second Raw since the Rumble, and yesterday he essentially beat Mojo Rawley just like this.
And how'd the people?
That bums me out.
Oh, they liked the promo and all of that. They were really behind him. Especially there's this part where he basically, he puts over the Claymore, which they've been doing very consistently and very well. And then he just looks at Mojo and says, "Oh, I forgot you were there." And then he basically says, "I'm gonna end you quickly," and then he does.
And how do the people react?
They like it.
Okay, good.
They're happy. They're cheering.
All right.
That's what I got. I didn't
Sounds
get
good
anything
then.
different from that. So, honestly, with the way that this is going so far, I'm liking it, but it's going to be very interesting to see how they keep the momentum hot for him.
I want to see more Mojo. I was bummed that happened to Mojo, but whatever.
What else?
We have that, and then one of the other things that we want to talk about, or we should probably mention, is that Charlotte Flair will be on NXT this Wednesday, and she is going to be answering Rhea Ripley's challenge, whether or not she's going to go for the title.
Okay.
So
is that what they're looking for?
That's definitely what the fans want, and I think that's the direction that they're going in because they're already teasing it. And I feel like that would probably be the most freshest opponent for Charlotte, where the fans are actually engaged and care about this match. And it's just that's what people want to see. That's what I want to see.
Yeah.
I hope I hope that if they got something really special with Rhea, obviously. Yeah. And when you have plans for somebody like that, I hope they follow through with them. And I hope that if that's the match, figure out how to say this right. It's important, with the momentum she has, if she needs to win that.
Right.
Yeah.
She needs to win that. And Shayna Baszler should have won the Royal Rumble. And she didn't. And I don't want to say somebody deserved it because it's whoever. It's what makes the most sense business-wise.
Yeah, exactly.
And that made that. I just felt bad for Shayna. Everything was great. They handled her title reign. This is one of the best title reigns I've seen in years on television. Men's, women's, anything, whatever.
Right.
And she's an amazing champion. And to see her derailed like that, it's a shame. And I'm disappointed to see that because I don't begrudge anyone going in and lobbying and fighting for themselves. I'm disappointed in the decision makers.
Right.
Bound to it.
And I think that was one of the things, though, for the Royal Rumble itself, and I know I mentioned this on the Fightful podcast, was that was the thing with the Women's Royal Rumble is that when Charlotte did win, it didn't have that pop that you necessarily have because it was somebody that, we've seen Charlotte in the title picture. We've already seen it, been there, sort of done that, and, love Charlotte, but I think we were expecting somebody different to go ahead and take that. And that's one of the beauties of the Royal Rumble is that we want to see, that guy or gal that, is on the precipice of, really getting to the top, but just hasn't had that moment yet. Yeah. And, so it would have been somebody preferably like a Shayna or, somebody that we haven't really seen in that spot.
It's just business-wise, it was, yeah. All right, next.
All right, well, those are our topics that we have for right now.
Yeah.
I know we'll probably have some more later on next week. We'll go from there. And that's pretty much what we have for today, unless you guys want to add anything else.
I don't know. Am I missing something? I feel like I'm forgetting something. Maybe not. All right. Well, I mean, it's gonna be back.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Well, A lot of
hope
people
everybody-
have been sending DMs asking about the show and what's going on with the show.
Yeah, I bet. Like,
But I
it's
didn't
kind of like,
respond
what the
'cause I
hell's
didn't have
going
an
on with you
answer.
guys, right? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I apologize to everyone that's a faithful listener and watcher, you know, because a lot of people, it is kind of that little thing they just throw on in the background. It helps them get through, you know, one of their days, or
Right.
yeah, and I'm grateful that we can be that for them.
Yeah.
So I'd like to be a little bit more consistent. We'll see how that works. All right, everyone.
Ty, you wanted
plugs.
to mention one thing?
Yeah. For if you're a wrestling fan in LA, this coming Friday, February 7th, Ted DiBiase and Hacksaw Jim Duggan will be telling stories at the Pack Theater, 9 o'clock and 10:30. Then Saturday night, my show JWC will be there. There will be Marky Extreme, Gentleman Jervis, Ray Rosas, all that kind of stuff. So if you're a wrestling fan, check out the Pack Theater at Pack Theater, all social media, all that stuff.
Cool.
Awesome. I have an upcoming interview with Scorpio Sky this Saturday. You guys can check it out, youtube.com/Denise Salcedo.
All right. We'll see you next week.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Keven Undergaro, Sean Waltman, and the entire X-Pac 12360 staff, thank you for tuning in to X-Pac 12360.